I am actually not interrupting anybody today. Oh my God. I just had to get that monkey off my back. You're listening to the Breakfast of Champions here on KCOU 88.1 FM, the student voice for Mizzou Athletics. We are live in Columbia, Missouri. Happy Friday, 5/7/3. Hope everyone's having a phenomenal week thus far. Hey, cold weather's out of the way. It was 67 degrees like at the middle of the week. What'd y'all do for the fun weather that was here for the short time it lasted?
Well, I used my porch for the first time in my apartment.
Hell yeah. Did you get to cook or anything?
Nah, I just sat out there, edited some B1 video, but was sitting out there, forgot about the fact that it was really cold outside and we even had a porch, so it was nice.
B1? Not fun.
Nice rhyme there. Good job, Shakespeare.
You know, I'm Slim Shady. Me and my roommates, we went to go work out here, and we were like, you know what? Let's walk. Let's walk to the clubhouse today. And then we made a pact that every time the weather's nice, we're going to walk there.
Burning them calories, huh?
The nice weather changed my life.
Well,
I guess. I don't know.
Ladies and gentlemen, shame on me because I didn't give these guys the proper introduction. Well, if you're listening in right now, which, I mean, obviously, you're tuned in, to my right on the live stream, your left, well, okay, look, I'm here with Brandon Anthony and Ryan Crothers. They've been here a couple of times in their lives. I usually give them a proper introduction, but we're just skipping past that because we got a lot to get into. So to start things off, we could kick it old school. Okay, maybe not a lot of things to get into. Maybe we're improvising on the second half of the show, but for now, we've got a plan. So, all right, we got a fresh brew to get into, and with that being said, I'm going to swing it over to Ryan Crothers, bring in some music. We got some topics to talk about that have occurred over this past week. So, Ryan, take it away, my man.
You guys taste that? Do you like taste it? Tastes like a fresh brew. You know what I'm saying? I'm sorry. This is my last day, I guess, after that horrible start. Anyways,
Put in your 2 weeks.
Happy Friday to everyone. Maybe not the most ideal headline to start off with, especially with such a beloved name, but it was a huge story this week, and it's still an ongoing story. But on Tuesday, golf legend, absolute legend, Eldrick Woods, also known as and only known as Tiger Woods, was involved in a single car accident near Ranchos Palos Verdes. Thank you, Miss Santiago, for the Spanish in high school. Anyways, Ranchos Palos Verdes, which is just outside of Los Angeles, is where that car accident took place. One car accident, 7 a.m. Pacific time. Police reports say that shortly after the accident, the 45-year-old Tiger Woods, he was driving his 2021 Genesis GV80 SUV. Holy moly, it's a nice car. Well, not anymore, but he crossed a median and veered across 2 lanes of the road before hitting a curb and then running into a tree before finally flipping onto its side in a bush, in the brush. Did you guys see the pictures?
I did.
Absolutely horrifying. I was so scared because it was like a little PTSD from about this time a year ago with Kobe, and I was like, are you kidding me? Another beloved. But anyways.
It's fortunate that, what happened. I mean, it's unfortunate what happened. It happened, but, I mean, fortunate that he's alive.
Yep. But Tiger Woods had to be taken away from his vehicle with firefighters prying the car open with the jaws of life, and then he was transported to Harbor UCLA Medical Center in Torrance for treatment. Phenomenal medical center there, one of the best in the world. Woods sustained rather severe injuries, as at least one of Woods' legs has had to be given a rod, some screws, some pins placed into it. Doctors believed that this would likely save Tiger's leg from amputation. So, thank goodness there. Tiger is now recovering from surgery at Cedars Hospital in Los Angeles. No further update has been made available on Tiger's status and or his future. I would say he's not going to golf again. most likely, unless it's in a couple years. But I do know that he broke both legs, almost had one amputated, and he shattered an ankle. That's one of the reports I saw. And with such a well-known face, a well-known name, and one of the most beloved athletes, in our time.
Yeah.
It's just horrible to see these things, but I'm just really glad he's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ryan, I'm thrilled he's okay. And you say he won't play again. I'm saying, maybe someday down the line when he recovers, it's going to take a long time, but hopefully he can play again. Yeah, absolutely unfortunate event. Matter of fact, less than 24 hours prior to Tiger's accident, Tiger had been golfing with Miami Heat 3-time NBA champion legend Dwayne Wade in L.A. In fact, Wade posted a video of him and Woods on the course together around the same time Woods' wreck would have taken place. So yeah, Tiger Woods, I also looked at it, and I also saw the news, and yeah, it gave me PTSD from last year too, and I was thinking, well, this better not, kick the rest of the year off to a bad start, kind of how, the Kobe news last year did. So, yeah, it's a good thing he's okay. I think he will play again, but I think it's going to take a long time. And I think it's going to be one of those comeback stories, kind of like, Alex Smith, we've seen it in the NFL.
That'd be crazy.
Maybe even longer, but definitely.
He was on his way to go give lessons to Drew Brees and Justin Herbert. I don't know if you guys saw that.
Oh, wow.
Because he was doing a little golf series where he golfs with famous athletes from other sports and giving them lessons and everything. So that's why the day before he was with Dwayne Wade, but he was driving to go meet up with Drew Brees and Justin Herbert. So it's just horrible.
It's unfortunate, truly. But yeah, I mean, just hopefully wishing him for a speedy recovery. I know we got some more news to get to. We could switch gears onto a lighter note. I know Brandon's got some stuff as far as the NFL goes, so we'll keep you updated on that, but we'll switch gears, keep the train moving. Got NFL. Go right ahead, Brandon.
Yep, and then yesterday, a fairly popular Seattle Seahawk created an abundance of buzz as word got out that 8-time Pro Bowler and Super Bowl champion Mr. Russell Wilson reportedly had been listed off the potential teams he would prefer a trade to. Now, according to NFL insider Adam Schefter, Wilson has yet to formally indicate that he would like a trade from the Seahawks. However, word spread like a wildfire on social media yesterday, and Wilson's sent out a preferred destinations list, which was made public, and the teams that he did list off included the Chicago Bears, who, yes, have the 23rd pick in the draft.
This is their 23rd ranked team
23rd
offense.
in team offense, yeah, sorry.
We can get back to that.
Yeah, we'll get back to that later. But Wilson, he's 32 years old. Obviously, he's been talked to and has sort of kind of leaked out some frustrations he's had with Seattle. In particular, he exclaimed his frustrations with how many times he's been sacked this past season. And then also in the conclusion of the Seahawks season in the press conference, he did not hold back onto how he thinks the team needs to address personal issues, particularly with Seattle's offensive line. So we're going to get a lot back. We're going to get into this more as time goes on. There'll be a first segment, but he did make some comments on the Dan Patrick show a couple weeks ago regarding his input on the team decisions, and we got a soundbite to express what he did say.
Not as much. I don't. I think that.
Do you want to be involved, Russ?
Yeah, I think it helps. I think it helps to be involved more. But I think that dialogue should happen more often, in my opinion.
Yeah, but look, I'm worried about these numbers. You've been sacked 394 times in your career, so you're going to be the most sacked quarterback in the history of the game. Why?
Yeah. Well, I think that sometimes you hold on to it a little bit, just because you're looking for that play and you find those guys, but also so many times those turns into touchdowns too. But to be you never want to be sacked that many times. 400 times basically is way too many. 400 too many. So I think that's a big a big thing that we got to fix. That's got to be fixed, you know.
Water is wet, Russell Wilson. Water is wet. When he said that he's been sacked 394 times, I don't know if y'all gathered this from that interview, and if you want to listen to that interview, go back to the Dan Patrick Show, because they have all of that stuff on YouTube and everything. You can listen to that full interview on YouTube. But when you listen to that, Brandon, I'll ask you first, what was your takeaway? Because I feel like Dan Patrick, that whole interview, if you listen to the whole thing, it feels like Dan Patrick pressures Wilson into saying those words. And Wilson's taken responsibility for some of the mistakes. I mean, throwing as many interceptions as he did, which, as a matter of fact, guys, he for the third most interceptions, not third most interception. He was sacked the third most times of any quarterback in the NFL this year. And I'm looking at that stat line. That was 40. I want to say it was behind Deshaun Watson and Carson Wentz, who are in the process and or have found their new home. Brandon, I mean, like, oh my gosh, I lost my train of thought. What was I going to ask you? Ladies and gentlemen, it is a Friday. Yeah, what do you make of this situation first off, and then I'll come back to the whole question that I had. But just go ahead, take it away with your thoughts on that interview.
Yeah, I mean, you're right, Keegan. I feel like Dan Patrick was kind of, pressuring him to say things, that were relating to his frustrations about the team. However, I don't really see him. I didn't get the vibe that he was, basically trying to come out and say he wants out of Seattle. I think he was just, saying, yeah, the offensive line isn't great. Obviously, they can't be sacked, 400-something times. That's a position we need to work on. It kind of sounded like to him that, yeah, it's frustrating that I've been sacked that much, and I wish Seattle would do something about it. But, I mean, to me, it didn't come across as, they better fix this or I'm out of here. It didn't really sound like that to me. So
yeah, listening to that, I don't think it sounded like that either. It didn't sound to me that he was like he wanted to leave or he was extremely frustrated with the organization. And I'm sure he is frustrated with the offensive line, and I'm sure he does have frustrations with, not the front office not giving him better assets on the offensive line. But it didn't sound to me like he was begging for a trade or it was a cry for help because he gets sacked all the time. He took some blame for it, but Russell Wilson is a team player. He's going to take blame for it no matter what. But, yeah, listening to that, Dan Patrick, he's a great journalist. He's a great sports journalist. He knows exactly what to ask, how to ask it, what to say, and how to say it to get, potential extreme. I'm losing my train of thought too now. He knows what to say to get what he wants the person he's talking to say to spark up some controversy, which is exactly what he did. Russell Wilson said something that really was taken out of context, in my opinion, and because Dan Patrick is really good at what he does, and now it's the only thing people have been talking about for 2 weeks. And it's kind of overshadowed the Deshaun Watson situation, but I don't know. I don't think he's going to go anywhere. I did say that about Tom Brady last year, so take my opinion with a grain of salt. But at least this time, Russell Wilson is still under contract, and he hasn't openly said he wants to leave. So I don't know. I don't see him leaving this year. I don't really see him leaving next year either. Maybe when he's 34, he could, Seahawks let him walk, or not let him walk, but trade for him or whatever. But I don't know. I don't buy any of this stuff. I don't think he's going anywhere.
I kind of agree, and I also don't think, Russell Wilson seems like the type of guy that is a team player or whatever. He kind of acts like that. It's not kind of like him, as you heard in the interview. Him talking about, the mistakes he's made of hanging on to the ball too much, stuff like that. I also think he isn't going anywhere. I think he's staying in Seattle. Seattle's going to ride out the rest of his contract, and then maybe when he's a free agent or his contract is up, he'll want to test the market and find another team. But for now, I think he's going to want to stick in Seattle and just hope that Seattle makes moves to improve.
If they were to move on from Russell Wilson, I think one of the things for me is shame on Seattle for showing more, more trust, more favoritism towards this front office, which by all means is not the best front office, not even remotely good. Russell Wilson, it's the parts that are on the offense that have made this team successful, i.e. guys like Russell Wilson. And if you were to lose him, you lose that spunk that you have to Seattle. I don't think you get back to the mountaintop. And I think it doesn't make sense to me for them to move on at this point from Russell Wilson, especially when he's invested this much time and effort in getting him to where they've been and as successful as they've been in recent years.
And spoken as a Niners fan too, just knowing Seattle, they're always the team that doesn't go away every year. Like, I wish they would go away. I was like, a couple years ago they lost Marshawn Lynch and a couple key players, and the Legion of Boom kind of crumbled. I was like, all right, maybe this is the year they finally go away. Still, we're there. Guys, want to know why? Russell Wilson was still the quarterback. Russell Wilson makes the team good, and he elevates their play to where they're always in the playoffs. They may not, be contenders every year, but they're always in the playoffs. So if Seattle loses him, all of a sudden you don't have that player that kind of sets all your problems aside and still gets to the postseason despite the issues you may have. So I just think it's crucial that they make the right choice, and if they let him walk, then something's wrong with Seattle, like Keegan said, for putting more trust in the eyes of Pete Carroll and the front office.
And he was a clear MVP favorite throughout the first 6-7 weeks of the season. I mean, no one was close. It was Russell Wilson on top of the mountain, and then it was like, oh, well, I guess Mahomes is having a good year. I guess Rodgers is having a good year. But it was Russell Wilson, clear-cut MVP. I saw so many things. It was like, he's never received an MVP vote. That'll change this year. It didn't change this year. But that's because you think after several weeks, when you're getting hit and sacked all the time, you don't perform at that top-tier elite level consistently like, say, Patrick Mahomes. Yes, his offensive line was horrible in the Super Bowl, but usually his offensive line is pretty good. Rodgers, same thing. Their offensive line was not good against the Buccaneers, but usually his offensive line is pretty good too. I don't know. I think the reason that Russell Wilson kind of fell off that MVP is because of him getting hit all the time. But I also think that when week in, week out, you have to bail out your defense because that defense is atrocious. Absolutely garbage defense. Look what he did when he had a good defense. He went to back-to-back Super Bowls, won one of them. Should have won the other one if Pete Carroll wasn't horrible at calling plays in clutch moments. But, I mean, Russell Wilson, he is, in my opinion, probably the third best quarterback in the game right now.
Oh, easily.
And,
easily, for sure.
Yeah, and you can't just, when you can tell that he's a little frustrated or he's a little upset and he's getting sacked 400 times nearly in his career, you got to do something about it. But they don't seem to care.
I think one of the turning points, you bring up a good point, and the fact that they don't seem to care. One of the turning points was whenever you parted ways with Brian Schottenheimer, who's the offensive coordinator. You have to remember, for Russell Wilson this year, it was a MVP-like season for like the first 6 games. Like, we were making consideration for this guy to win MVP. Matter of fact, he was my favorite to win MVP by week 6, week 7, and then Aaron Rodgers just turned up. But 4,202 yards, passing yards. He finished 9th in passing yards this year, 3rd in passing touchdowns. This is all with the atrocious offensive line that he's talking about. And then 6th in completion percentage among all QBs. And then that was a completion percentage of 68.8%. Russell Wilson is a phenomenal quarterback. He's just like Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson possesses the same exact tangibles as far as athleticism and ability to extend plays. And really, you need it. The mobility that he has, he's a pioneer to the mobile quarterback, arguably. He was one of the first to come into the league and really display that. I mean, people have done it in years past, i.e. Michael Vick, but he was kind of the second coming of that. He really kind of paved the way for guys like Patrick Mahomes, Kyler Murray, Lamar Jackson. All that has become more popular, and you can make the argument because of the investment that they made in Russell Wilson and the gym that they found in Russell Wilson when he came out of college. I think that let's get into the hypotheticals here, because as I'm looking at these teams, now we just got to talk about the teams here. Are these, let's say, Russell Wilson, they do want to seek a trade. What do we think about the 4 teams that he listed? Chicago Bears, Dallas Cowboys, Las Vegas Raiders, and the New Orleans Saints. Now, this is according to reports. Keep in mind, according to Adam Schefter, he has not demanded a trade yet from the team. So this is really just kind of a hypothetical, like this isn't even close to done. So, and I highly doubt it gets done, but we'll play the hypothetical game and we'll just give you our input. So, Ryan, I'll start with you. Dallas, Chicago, Las Vegas, New Orleans, or other. What do you think?
Well, first of all, I don't know how accurate this really is. I mean, I know Adam Schefter tweeted about it and everything, but how can you really trust it unless it's Russell Wilson coming out and saying it, in my opinion?
Kind of sounds like telephone.
Right? I also read an article that had the Dolphins in that mix, and the Bears weren't on the list of when he said the potential teams, and there was another team on there, I can't remember, but it was like none of the reports, they're not all adding up together until Adam Schefter tweeted this, and then everyone's saying the same thing. So I trust Adam Schefter more than I trust myself, but when there's a bunch of different reports, different teams, different names, I don't know how much I trust it. But hypotheticals, I'm ruling the Saints out 1,000%. They don't have the cap space for that. They have negative cap space right now.
Yeah.
Dallas Cowboys, I don't see it. I don't see the Cowboys going after him unless Dak comes out openly and says, hey, I'm out. Like, I don't want to play for you guys anymore. I think as a Broncos fan, I think knowing that the worst could happen will happen, I think he'll go to the Raiders, but I think he should go to the Bears.
The reason I like the fact that he goes to the Raiders is because, look, I can't stand Kansas City, I can't stand Las Vegas, and I cannot stand the Chargers. So don't get me wrong, I don't root for them, I don't endorse them, I don't care about those teams. However, I care about us as a division, and that would make us the most competitive division in the NFL, and it's not close. You act like porn star Jimmy and the 3 amigos that you have in the NFC West would make you the most competitive as far as quarterbacks, but you have no definitive evidence. If we take away Russell Wilson, you have Matthew Stafford, a rookie Kyler Murray, and Jimmy Garoppolo, who hasn't proven any worth whatsoever, and he's a waste of space in the league. Nathan Peterman's about as valuable as Jimmy G in my eyes, and you even know that. But anyway, we take away the worth from the NFC West because he's about the only thing that remains standing in that conference, in that division.
So, My turn.
Before they get into it, you should have seen them pre-show. There was talks with Drew Lock comparing to Jimmy G.
I'll put out the poll.
We might come out in the second segment and talk about that and let these two hash it out, but just be prepared. There's going to be some heated arguments between these two. These two are kind of mad at each other right now. It kind of seems like.
Look, man, the NFC West has been the most competitive division in football the last 3 seasons, not just because of the quarterbacks, but for the records. It's not about the quarterbacks. It's about the win-loss record and how the teams are doing as a respective division. I would say the only division that was close to the NFC West this season was the AFC North, with Pittsburgh, Baltimore, and Cleveland all being sub 500. And then it was the NFC West. NFC West is the toughest division every single year in football. I don't want to hear it. Yes, Russell Wilson coming in and being a Raider would probably put the AFC West in contention. But
it would put them on top. It's not even close.
What you got
Justin Herbert, who's offensive rookie of the year. Next, go ahead.
Let me speak. You got Justin Herbert,
Patrick
you got
Mahomes,
Russell Wilson,
Super Bowl
you got Patrick
MVP.
Mahomes, and Drew Lock doesn't stand with
Both
any of them.
MVPs.
So guess what?
But you can bring in Deshaun Watson. That would make it even worse.
That's about the same talent that the NFC West has in terms of quarterbacks, but you got to be able to prove it on the field. I get Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback in football, and Russell Wilson coming in there would be great. But, once that happens, I don't know. AFC West has got to come in and prove that they're the toughest division.
Herbert's better than Stafford.
NFC West, you guys don't seem to agree that the NFC West has been the toughest division in the last 3 years in
Technically,
football.
you
Because
said
Kyler Murray, Russell Wilson, and now Matthew Stafford coming in.
Hold on, sweetheart.
Every team in the NFC West was above 500 except the Niners last season. And in 2019, every team was above 500. All 4 teams were above 500.
In the wise words of Skip Bayless, it's my turn. All right. Now, as far as competitive is the word that you used, if you want to get to that, if you want to use that term, technically it'd be the NFC East is the most competitive. Hey, you're picking your words here.
I agree with that though, because they're so bad that it's competitive.
It is. You use the word competitive. Now, as far as talent-wise, yes, I would agree with you. The NFC
Talent-wise
West
doesn't mean they're going to be competitive.
Yeah, as far as talent and accolades and success, I would say that the NFC West has been the key to getting to the Super Bowl 2 out of the last 3 seasons. This season, you guys were a disappointment. The Rams lost in the playoffs. The Seahawks were a waste of space. We saw that. And then, of course, the 49ers were, injured and plagued. And the Cardinals were a bust. Cliff Kingsbury hasn't got it figured out as far as being the head coach. And so you guys looked whack at the end of the season. There was no competitiveness. You lost your touch this year. So the past 2 seasons...
Still been the most competitive division in football the last 2 seasons. I don't think any division's come close to that. AFC West sure as hell hasn't. Now, if they get Russell Wilson, probably will be competitive.
And now I'm saying you could make the argument in 2018, 2017, I want to say, because the Raiders, I believe, one of those seasons were 13-3. The Chiefs were up there, and then the Broncos were, the Broncos and Chargers have kind of been down below. But now before that, if you talk about 2016, 2015, 2014, 2013, AFC West, any point of 2010s, they were the most competitive division, and it wasn't close. So from about 2010 to 2015, 2016, the AFC West was the most competitive. It was. Statistically on paper, the Raiders had a good record, the Chiefs had a good record, they were all playoff contention teams, and it came down to the wire as far as getting into the playoffs. The NFC West, you cannot tell me that the NFC West was capable of doing that. They sucked. Jimmy G, when he got there, was absolute trash.
I thought we were talking about 2012, 2013, 2014.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
Jimmy G wasn't even near San Francisco.
2015, 2016 is when he got there. I'm aware, but I'm saying in that little time frame as a whole.
In 2012, the division, the NFC West consisted of Colin Kaepernick, Russell Wilson. The Rams were garbage, and the Cardinals were garbage. Russell Wilson and Colin Kaepernick made for a competitive division between those 2 teams. AFC West probably was more competitive back then because they got Peyton Manning. Alex Smith was with Kansas City at that point, and Derek Carr was just taking off.
During that same exact time, the NFC South literally had Drew Brees, Matt Ryan, and Cam Newton. Come on. You're not going to tell me that.
I forgot about that.
That's true.
You're not going to tell me that the NFC West was even
AFC
close to touching the NFC South back then.
Neither
was the
AFC West.
With Peyton Manning, Alex Smith, Derek Carr, who had an MVP-like season, and Phillip Rivers, when all 4 of them were competitive, all 4 teams were competitive.
They didn't touch the NFC South. I feel like Drew Brees, Matt Ryan, and Cam Newton were all much better.
All 4 of them,
tandem between those 3 in the AFC West.
All 4 of them, the year the Broncos won the Super Bowl and the years prior, they were all good. All 4 in the NFC South. The Buccaneers were a laughingstock, unless they were wearing their creamsicle jerseys. They were a laughingstock of the league for so many years. And if you look at quarterbacks-wise, you look at the greats. Peyton Manning, Drew Brees, at that time, Peyton Manning, better. Facts. Maybe not his last season. But before his
Definitely
last
not his
season.
last season.
No, but before his last season, he was 100% better. You look at Alex Smith compared to Matt Ryan. I'd give it to Matt Ryan. Yeah, for sure. You look at Derek Carr on his MVP-like season compared to Cam Newton on his MVP-like season. Probably Cam Newton for 1 year. For 1 year, only 2015. Every other year, Cam Newton has not been good. Cam Newton had one great season. Other than that, his numbers suck. So, besides 1 year of Cam Newton, got to give it to Derek Carr. Yeah. Consistently. And then you look at Phillip Rivers versus, who was the Buccaneers quarterback? That was before Jameis.
Josh Freeman? I don't know.
Yeah, so
McCown?
Phillip Rivers.
Was McCown there?
It's not even close. It's not even close. Phillip Rivers, 8 years ago, was a top 10 quarterback in the league. The AFC West had 4 top 15 quarterbacks in that division. The NFC West, Russell Wilson.
Facts.
Not Kaepernick, because he did leave the 49ers to a Super Bowl. And I disagreed when this guy earlier was saying Russell Wilson was the creator of all these.
Do I have to list you off who you have on your defense? Nah, hear me out. Because you had Patrick Willis, Navarro Bowman, Aldon Smith. You had one of the most lethal defenses in the NFL at the time you guys went to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, so did you guys with Peyton Manning.
Not the first Super Bowl we went to.
No, we had a horrible
defense, and we had the number 1 offense of all time.
Facts. That's true.
Yeah, but you had the best defense of all time with
2 years later in 2015
with Peyton Manning on his last legs.
Yeah.
So you're saying whatever.
Okay, so I win. Anyway, all right, we're gonna take a quick break. When we come back, should we argue more of this because this is kind of fun?
Let's do it.
All right, we'll figure out what to argue about.
The juices are flowing. Let's get it going more.
I hate this water bottle. Oh, all right, you're listening to the Breakfast of Champions here on KCOU 88.1 FM. I promise we'll get along at the end or next break. I don't know. We'll figure it out.
Welcome back, everybody, after a very calm commercial break. We are back here. Breakfast of Champions, February 26th, the last show of February. Boys, it's almost March again. That brings up PTSD from last year. I being, just the calm guy in the group right now, I could bring you guys a little ASMR, maybe? I'm just kidding. No one wants that. We got some news from the NHL. Not really a Ryan's rink, like full segment, but it's like a little dabble. It's like Ryan's kiddie pool, like you're just dipping your toes in for a second. Big news came. What analogy was that I just come up with?
It's
kind of
Friday.
slapped though. Kind of slapped. I got a big drive to Nashville here in about 20 minutes, so I'm happy. I'm slap happy right now. Like if you slap me across the face in a debate right now, Brandon, I'd be happy. I wouldn't care. All right, maybe I'd care just like for 10 seconds, but then I'd laugh. Anywho, one of the league's NHL I'm talking about, folks. One of the league's best players. He finished second in MVP voting last year. Our Timmy Panerian. Oh. Not good news coming out of his life right now. He is taking a leave of absence right now in the NHL from the New York Rangers. The team granted him that. The reason he is doing this is because in 2011, someone came out now in 2011, 10 years ago, and has accused him of assault allegations. They said that he punched her, he hit her, and this was 10 years ago. He's Russian, so when he was playing for the KHL, which is the big Russian league over there, which a lot of prospects that end up going to the NHL come from the KHL. So he is currently stepped away from the team right now. He's still on the team. The team has been very open about the situation. They've talked about how they think. All of his teammates have shown their support. The team has. And at first, it did not look good for our Timmy Panerian at all. But a lot of reports ever since the initial report about this, a lot of reports from back then and 10 years ago, they're not supporting the allegations that he did do it. He has a lot of accusations. He's denied all of them, and the reports do support his case. But we don't know. We don't know for sure yet. There's nothing been official. He hasn't been charged with anything. And, the saying goes, innocent until proven guilty, but in a situation like this, you don't know. So I think it's smart that he had to take a step away, but I don't know. It was 10 years ago. Excuse me. Anyways, Timmy Panerian, one of the best players in the league. It sucks for him. There's no timetable on when he's going to come back, but that is the big news in the NHL right now. I will say I was watching an NHL show, and Elliot Friedman was talking about how Timmy Panerian was open about his support. Actually, this might have been an article, not Elliot Friedman, so I'll scratch that. But he was open with his support against Vladimir Putin's rival, like political rival. So a lot of people are speculating that maybe because he has been openly supporting Vladimir Putin's political rival, that these allegations were thrown on him to hopefully ruin his career. And Artemi Panarin has openly said that he fears for his family back home in Russia right now. He doesn't feel like it's safe for him to go back to that country. So, whole lot of craziness going on in the life of Artemi Panarin. But with that being said, hopefully he did not do it. And hopefully Brandon nor Keegan beat each other up here in a second, because I feel like it's about to get heated. Anyways, the NHL is going great right now. If you guys want a little break from these two yelling at each other, you could just
Ryan's Rink.
You could just DM me, send me a message. We'll talk hockey or UFC or whatever. But all right, boys, the floor's open. Clearly, the AFC North is the best division of all time, right? That's what you guys are talking about. Jokes.
No, man, I want to bring up something that we discussed before the show. And yeah, Ryan's right. It will get heated.
Oh, boy.
It's all you.
Before the show, this guy over here, Mr. Keegan Hartman, thought he should let me know that, yes, the homeboy for all you listeners out here, Drew Lock, who is the Denver Broncos quarterback, as I'm sure you know very well, being Kansas City fans and Kansas City supporters, he shouted out that Drew Lock is a better quarterback than Jimmy Garoppolo, which I think is 100% bogus at the moment. And Keegan can debate, but guess what, Keego? I got stats this time to back me up, unlike before the show.
Okay.
So you're going to hear about it. Okay. So we're going to start. I'm going to make my case, and I'll swing it over to you, man. And I don't think you'll have much talking to do because I'm pretty much gonna get it all out.
Speak up, man. Come on.
Get it all out.
All right, go. Let's get it.
Oh, boy.
Oh, it's about to get spicy, ladies and gentlemen. Jimmy Garoppolo.
Buy me dinner first.
Jimmy Garoppolo has gotten into the league in 2014, has played multiple backup seasons with the New England Patriots before being traded to San Francisco in 2017. Only played 6 games in 2017 because he had just gotten traded. 2018 was his infamous ACL year, played 2 games, tore his ACL, week 3 in Kansas City. And then 2019 comes around, and man, he plays 1 full season for the first time in his career, his first full season as a starter. He has a 69.1 completion percentage, throws for 3,978 yards, 27 touchdowns, 13 interceptions, at 102 quarterback passer rating. And keep in mind, he led a 49ers team from 4-12 the year before, completely out of contention in all aspects. Leads them to the number 1 seed in the AFC, leads them to the Super Bowl, and yet we are still having this conversation apparently because Keegan thinks Drew Lock is better. Well, you look at Drew Lock. Yes, he is younger. He comes out of University of Missouri, obviously, MIZ. But 2019, it was his rookie. I think he was a rookie, right, in 2019?
Yes.
Rookie season, yeah. I don't think he started many games. Let's go to this past season.
He started 5
He
games.
started 5, and
Yeah,
he was
but
4-1 in those first 5 starts. Jimmy
G was 5-0, so I don't want to hear it.
Oh, he was?
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
We were 1-10 going into his first start, and he was 6-10. He's 5-0.
If you include his 2 starts when Tom Brady was suspended, he was 2.
Now let's look at strength of schedule between those guys.
All right.
Brandon
Let
needs to
me
finish.
finish. Let me finish.
I'm
2020.
I'm the moderator between the two.
2020 this past season, Drew Lock, 57.3 completion percentage, 2,933 yards, 16 touchdowns, 15 interceptions, 75.4 passer rating. Yeah, if you look at Drew Lock's stats in 2020, where you played a full season, compared to Jimmy G in 2019, where he played a full season.
Drew Lock didn't play a full season.
How many games did he play?
5.
No, in 2020 he played 13 games.
Played 13 games?
Yeah, 13 because of COVID.
Close enough.
And,
we'll go
and his injury.
based off of that. Jimmy G's
He
only
sta-
played.
well, he
both
started-
these quarterbacks have been derailed by injury
He
or
started
haven't
13
played full
games,
seasons that
but
much.
he didn't complete 13 games because he got hurt in 2 games. Or no, in the game against the Steelers where he couldn't finish
in the
it.
Jets, I think, wasn't ripping your quarterback or whatever.
Well, that was the week after. That was the week when he was hurt and couldn't play. He missed like 3 games in a row. Or he missed the Jets game, came back for the Patriots, and then he got COVID against the Saints.
Okay, so for that sake, I'm going to use 2020 just because he's played the most games out of his career, and I'm going to use 2019 for Jimmy G because he's played
about
the most games.
12 full games, I think.
Yeah, so in his stats in his 13 full games were a lot worse than Jimmy Garoppolo in 2019. Granted, Jimmy Garoppolo's been on the field a lot less, which is doesn't exactly bode well for the team as a whole. But that's my case, Keegan. So if you want to go on and make your case like you were earlier, or you don't have anything to say.
I'm still doing some research. Ryan, go ahead and fill me in on real quick.
Okay.
I'm bringing up some points.
I wasn't ready for this one, but so Brandon, you did say when you said 15 interceptions for Drew Lock, you go
Only 16 touchdowns.
after 15 interceptions, but Jimmy G had 13.
Yeah, he also had 27 touchdowns, though.
I'm talking about interceptions right now. I don't remember.
Okay, because
I don't remember
interceptions
mentioning.
mean more than touchdowns.
No,
I guess.
because the only time you did a stat where you made a sound afterwards was when you said 15 interception. You go, whew. But
it
Jimmy
is
G,
more than 13.
No, I know, but it's only 2. What's the difference between 4 interceptions and 2? 2, but it's not a huge difference. 15 and 13. It's still a lot of interceptions. Both quarterbacks need to fix that.
Garoppolo's interception rate was overlooked by his touchdown. He threw more touchdowns. So,
Okay.
continue.
Well, he threw 5 picks in 6 games this year. Jimmy G did. That's
Yeah,
almost.
he was also
that's almost
hurt.
That's almost a pick a game. Okay, Drew Lock was also hurt.
This past season?
Yes, he was hurt the whole year.
What was his injury?
It was a back injury.
He hurt his back.
Shoulder.
He hurt his shoulder.
Yeah, he did. He was on the field for 13 games, though.
Not for a full 13 games.
So what was it, 12 and a half?
It was probably 11 full games. He started 13. He played 11 full games.
Well, the reason Jimmy Garoppolo had 5 picks in 6 games is he was still playing on his high ankle sprain, whatever, which affects your throwing
I feel
motion.
So bad for him.
It affects your throwing motion.
I feel
you can't
for
plant
him.
your leg to put power into your throw. The ball was sailing. That's honestly what happened. He came back too soon.
I've sprained my ankle before too. It really hurts for maybe a day. I feel so bad for him.
It's a high ankle sprain,
Okay,
not just a boo-boo
2018
ankle sprain.
before Jimmy G tore
High
his
ankle
ACL.
sprain's hard to come back from.
Before Jimmy G tore his ACL in 2018, he started 3 games, didn't finish the 3rd because that was the game he tore his ACL. He threw 3 picks in 3 games, which is not good. That's a pick a game. In 2019, when Drew Lock came in as a rookie, He went 4-1 in 5 games, and he threw 3 picks in 5 games.
So are you going to talk about interceptions?
Well,
Are you going to talk about interceptions?
all right. He threw 7 touchdowns. Drew Lock did in 5 games, and Jimmy G threw 5. So
regardless of
they're about the same on touchdowns.
Regardless of the touchdown interception rate, let's talk about where your quarterback has led your team since he's been the starter.
Okay. Let's talk about the teams then.
Okay,
we've really been a mirror image of each other if you want to get like that. Because if you look at the injuries that have plagued us,
season, both of us were the two most
2019
teams by injury.
You guys,
I agree.
2019, you guys had one of the most stacked defenses I've ever seen, and the weapons around you guys were unreal. I mean, you guys had Emmanuel Sanders.
I wouldn't say they were unreal. That Debo Samuel and Emmanuel Sanders
was amazing.
And Kittle, I guess.
And Kittle and your entire running game. Yeah, not unreal. You guys went to the darn tootin' Super Bowl, man. You guys were a Super Bowl caliber team with a below average quarterback. The Denver Broncos.
Below average quarterback, all right.
He is a below average quarterback. Jimmy Garoppolo is.
He's average.
He's below average. Guaranteed.
A quarterback doesn't just jump in and start off 5-0 and then come in after he tears his ACL, leads his team to the 1 seed and then to the Super Bowl in his first full season as a starter. Not a lot of quarterbacks can do that. I feel like a lot of people forget the fact that he did that, and it's not a lot of quarterbacks can do that. He's a winner. He has the it factor. He wins. He might not be the best quarterback in the world, but you can win with him. And he took us all the way to the Super Bowl.
It factor. He had Kyle Shanahan as the offensive coordinator doing the run game. It was the zone blocking scheme. It was the defense as well. Oh my God!
He wins games, right?
Yeah,
that's what you're saying.
Games.
Yeah. Well, so why did he overthrow a wide open Emmanuel Sanders in the Super Bowl? That's not winning a game.
Stuff happens in the Super Bowl. Why is everyone's treating the overthrow of Emmanuel Sanders like it's like
so
it's
now
like no one misses a throw in the Super Bowl when it matters most.
So now
it's
Tom
Brady
team
missed
game.
the throw in the Super Bowl when it matters most. Does Peyton Manning missed the throw in the Super Bowl when it matters most?
Hold on.
Yes, all the great ones even mess up and miss a throw.
So now it's a team game. Before, it wasn't a team game. It was all Jimmy Garoppolo. You said he led the team. It was all Jimmy G. The team sucked, and now it's all Jimmy G. But as soon as I point out a flaw in a game with Jimmy G, it's now all of a sudden a team sport.
Not even
That's
saying it's a
inconsistent.
team sport.
It's a lot
what do you
like-
mean it's a team sport? What are you talking about? The fact that he overthrew, that's Jimmy G. That's not the team.
Yeah, but you just said there's a lot that happened in the Super Bowl. It wasn't all on Jimmy G. But what you were just talking about, the reason you were there, was because of all it was Jimmy G. So which one is it? Was it all Jimmy G or was it not all Jimmy G?
I never said it wasn't all Jimmy G. When did I say that? Go back, please.
You said Jimmy G turned the entire team around and led your team to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, you think we could have done the same thing with C.J. Beathard in that quarterback? No,
Maybe.
C.J. Beathard is far below average. No, we couldn't have done the same thing with C.J. Beathard as quarterback. Did you see C.J. Beathard play this last season?
Well, Jimmy Garoppolo is a lot better than C.J.
Real
Beathard.
quick.
We can all agree on that one.
Real quick, because of time constraints, we are going to outro on the mainstream. So KCOU, you're going to lose us. But I love this conversation, and for podcast's sake, I have to continue this. So we're going to outro, and I'll edit this in the podcast. We'll outro this. You've been listening to the Breakfast of Champions here on KCOU. Thank you for tuning in. But if you can tune into the live stream, head over to the live stream. We are continuing this discussion on the live stream. So in the meantime,
it's on Facebook.
Yes, we will outro here, but we're going to continue this argument because I like where we're at. So stay right here. Please don't move because we are going to finish this argument. But in the meantime, you're losing us on KCOU for time constraints. Thank you for listening in. We'll see you next week. Have a good evening.
Have a great
weekend, evening, whatever. Breakfast of Champions.